Board of County Commissioners meeting May 4th, 2023, 5:30 p.m. Ernie Lee McGahey Government Building. Please turn your cell phone to the vibrate, silence, or the off setting. The Board of County Commissioners allows any person to speak regarding an item on the agenda. The speaker is limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise determined by the chairman to allow for sufficient time for all of our speakers. Today, I have the distinct honor of being the commissioner to invite the pastor for the invocation, a pastor that's new to the area, but is making a great impact at one of the most influential churches in our community. Please welcome Pastor Brandon Mason, the senior pastor of the Zion Hope Primitive Baptist Church. Pastor.
Let us pray. God, how we've set aside this day of National Day of Prayer to assemble in this place to give you reverence, honor, and glory. God, today we lift up every city official, every commissioner, every councilman. We lift up our mayor, our governor, our president of the United States, each elected official office of this city and country. God, how we pray that your peace will reign in our country as we reflect even on yesterday as gunfire ran rapidly in the city of Atlanta. God, we ask that you would make our land peaceful. We ask that you would protect our children as they go to school. Put your arms of protection around each and every one of us as we go to and from our destinations. God, we again pray for everyone in this building. Pray that no matter what our differences is or our preference is or our culture, our background, our creed, our denomination, our religion, no matter what our church affiliation is, that we come together to keep our community safe, to do what is best for our city. God, we give you glory, honor, and praise. It's in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Mason. Commissioner Berry, please lead us in the pledge.
Yes, sir. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Berry. And again, Pastor Mason, thank you for the prayer. Thank you for the invocation, Pastor Mason. And I will tell you, you are a great pastor because my mother attended your church on Sunday, and she's reminded me all week of the great sermon that she heard. So thank you so much. Are there any items to be added to the agenda?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Nothing from me.
Thank you.
Nothing for me.
Thank
No,
you.
sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Bear?
I have none. Your mother did not say it was better than your father's, did she?
Never.
She did not say that.
No. Nicole would say, no, there's not been a greater sermon than the sermon that my daddy preached every Sunday. I mean, he may be like good, but not the best. Yeah. Yeah, daddy is still the best. And I'm sure she's watching right now. Wes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have one add-on, that the board adopt the resolution approving supplemental budget amendment, SBA 23045, other grants and projects, in the amount of $121,320 to recognize proceeds from a Florida Department of State Division of Elections grant and to appropriate these funds to be used for activities relating to election security.
Move
Oh,
the
yeah.
agenda. I'm sorry.
Have we added that? Are we good?
Yeah, just read
It's
it.
on there. All right.
Move the agenda as amended.
We have a motion.
Second.
Please vote. Well, can you, let's act like we're in Mason's church. Raise your hand. If you, yeah. That passes unanimous, 5 in favor. Thank you. We'll get this. And thank you, Nita. You're right. Thanks for the text. My father's sermon was the best. So even though you're a member of Zion Hope, I'm glad that you recognize that my dad was still good. Commissioner's Forum. Commissioner Bagash.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Quite a bit has happened since our last meeting, I was here. I want to thank all those who participated in the Attainable Housing Summit last Friday at the Bayview Community Center. I want to thank Dave Robau for sponsoring it and organizing it. It was a very, very important group of people sat down, talked about all the issues that we have. You know, we've got a two-part issue, Mr. Chairman, and on one part, it's a supply problem. There's not enough supply.
Absolutely.
On the other hand, no one wants us to ever build anything again. So you got those two things, and then we wonder why a two-bedroom apartment on Davis is $1,700 a month, and our kids can't afford it. We have a housing issue, and it's a supply problem. And anyway, it was a good conference. I also want to thank Austin Mount and the Emerald Coast Regional Council. I had the opportunity to attend the Military Installation Resiliency Review Conference in Okaloosa County on Wednesday of last week, and very important topics. The military missions in our area support a lot of jobs, and they bring in a lot of money to our area, and there's a threat. They're under threat, not just by natural forces, but there's powerful people in Congress that want to take our mission to their states, right? They won't come out and just say it, but I want to thank everyone who participated in that. It's going to be an ongoing group. You know, the panhandle of Florida gets about $22 billion a year from DOD spending, and it trickles out into the economy. And if any part of that gets pulled, it's a tremendous impact to Pensacola or the entire Panhandle area. So it's a good group. They're going to keep working. I also want to congratulate publicly our good friend Andy Hobbs, formerly Commander Andy Hobbs at the Sheriff's Office. He was just promoted today to Chief Deputy. So he's a great guy, hard worker, and I'm very, very proud of him. And I want to congratulate him publicly. And then I want to thank some staff members who I've been really, really driving pretty hard on multiple issues. Sadly, in Beulah in District 1, we had two state roads, Beulah Road and 9 Mile Road, where there's some issues with the turn, a left turn lane there. And sadly, we had a very, very bad accident, and a woman from Alabama was killed, and a young 8-year-old boy was thrown out of the car. It was terrible. And a number of residents sent pictures, and you know, it's tough. You got to be careful when you drive. But before I could even call our traffic division, even though it's a state road, it's not a county road, before I could even pick up the phone and call him, he called me and said, our staff realized that there might be an issue at that road, and we're going to proactively send something. Now, we can't make them do it, but we're going to send something to the state, our recommendations, and they did that. So if I don't talk about stuff like that, you're never going to know about it. But that's the county employees that we have working for us here in Escambia County. We've got good people, and they do great things. You can beat us up all you want, but we got great people that work here, and they're looking out for your safety. So I want to shout out to Chris Phillips and all the guys in traffic. Thank you for taking care of that, and we hope the state will take your recommendations because they look very, very solid. Finally, I want to thank Steve West, Allison Rogers, and Tim Day. As everyone knows, there's some issues at Perdido Key in District 1. Many, many years we've had no trespassing signs on portions of the beach, and lo and behold, come to find out, what do you know? It was always supposed to be public for years and years. and people have been kicking people off those beaches. So we're going to change that around, but we've got to go through it, and we've got to do our homework. And I really appreciate staff's support on researching those titles, making sure that that easement is what it is, and we believe that it is. And at the end of it all, we're going to open up over a mile of public beach and no more kicking people out of their own beach. So I'm very proud of that, and I appreciate the county's support. Thank you.
It's the first time you've ever gotten applause, Jeff. That's
I know. I got to do more of this.
But Jeff, I do want to publicly,
Be here all week.
I probably want to thank you and Claire for filling in for me at the Affordable and Attainable Housing Summit. As I told Commissioner Bender today, our children should be our number one priority, so I was with my son as we're chasing basketball across the country. But thank you for filling in. We certainly appreciate it, and you're right. We have a crisis that has not been recognized. When you look at Oakwood Terrace and Marina Court, when rents can go as high as $864 a month in public housing, we have a crisis, and so I appreciate you filling in, and I hope that we'll bring some resolution, so thank you. Commissioner Kohler?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I got a few things I want to discuss just for a few minutes tonight. Indulge me, if you will. Last Saturday, I went out and worked with Ocean Hour in Jones Swamp and Lexington Park picking up trash. We picked up around 600 pounds. Picking up trash it seems like it's a problem everywhere in District 2, but we're working it. But what was more devastating to me was when we were picking up trash, it reminded me of my times when I was in Tijuana, Mexico, or Naples, Italy. When we went through Jones Swamp, there was homeless everywhere with children, with dogs. It's just unreal, and we've got to get a solution sooner than later. I appreciate John Roberts today going out and helping me with the animals. I can't thank you enough. We had homeless people that couldn't take care of the animals anymore, that they couldn't feed them. It's just, I can't wait for this May 9th meeting to see what we're going to do, but we have to do something, or our community, at least in District 2 and District 3, is definitely changing. All right, now I want to talk a little bit about this. This is very important to me, and it needs to be very important to every commissioner, and I'll tell you why. We're a different county here in Escambia County. We do district politics. But if this was any of the other counties in the state, this would be an all-hands measure immediately. As NAS Pensacola brings in $6.6 billion to the county. About $1.3 billion of that goes to Santa Rosa for people that live in Gold Prees and other areas. When you look at this stuff, and just to tell you, I've been part of multiple of these over the years with my 33 years in the Navy. There's words that matter. The first word that should stick out to everyone is compatible. It's not the NAS growth plan, it's the compatible. Are they still compatible with us? First thing, words matter. This will go up to DC and be a problem for us. The second thing is, when they say joint utilization land study and they're giving away land, they're not growing. Things are changing. So if you look historically, and I could go through this isn't just a county commission job. This is the feds funding the hangars out there. It's state helping us. It's county issues. But there's nothing more pressing. If we were to lose 20% of the 120 tenant commands at NAS Pensacola, it'd be over $1 billion. The pain would be so astronomical for this community. I'm going to beg you guys to help me with this. Literally, I'm going to beg. I'm going to ask for much, but I'm going to beg on the base because there's nothing more important. I'm going to highlight something on that. Just to tell you how much we got hurt recently. When they closed down the museum, I was an XO out on the base at that time. I went to the museum. The base was bringing in, the museum's free, right? But they estimated that it was bringing in $31 million to Warrington, to downtown, to Perdido Key. That's $100 million we lost in the last 3.5 years. Thank you, thank you, thank you, the region, the Secretary of the Navy, village, everyone. It was a full court press, but it took too long, and there was no reason for it. And they could have adopted the ASF study, or augmented the auxiliary security force, and put those people there a long time ago at the internal control points. That plan's been out there forever. I did a force protection plan. It took 3.5 years. Unbelievable. So if you don't, those hidden signs matter. I had someone call me that some of you folks know on this board that said, please don't talk about it. Hope is not a strategy. You know what happens when you don't get out in front of this stuff? You're writing apology letters. We need to collectively work together to do what we can on this, and I'm asking you, I'm begging you, please listen to me on this. This is serious. And now I have a couple more things I want to talk about. Fun things. One more thing. Oh, this coin here was part of the CONUS study where we lost $25 million. I'd like to give that one back. But I know next week is a big week. I'm a nurse. Next week is Nurses Week. If you read the paper, we're going to be down 60,000 nurses in the state of Florida. By 2035, they're estimating close to 1 million in the United States. I appreciate trying to get 4,000 more nurses out of West Florida. But what I want to say is I'm going down to Key West because the Navy's going to do something very remarkable. They're going to commission the first destroyer ship, the USS Lena Sutcliffe Higbee, next Saturday, and it'll be the first ship ever honored by a female in the Navy, and she was the first nurse. So I'm excited about that. And for all the nurses out there next week, thank you for what you do. Your service cannot be understated. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Commissioner Kohler. We certainly appreciate that. Commissioner Bender?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Of course, Mike somewhat alluded to it, but I know a lot of us are excited to have access back to the base starting May 17th. They still have 2 weekends of access before they'll do that, but it'll be through the back gate. We're working with the base to try to help alleviate any traffic concerns, put notices up on that people need to go to the back gate, not come in the front gate at Navy Boulevard. And so, it's a plan that, or a waiver that the base submitted last summer. And so I'm glad to see it finally coming to fruition, and can't wait to get back on the base. So I know a lot of people share that with me. But of course, that the desire to do that can't go without the protection of the missions on the base and the base personnel. So I think that of course weighs heavily on us, and something to consider. We do have a proclamation on here that I presented last night, recognizing the Cox Communications Inspirational Student Heroes. 54 Escambia County students were recognized last night. And these are students that have overcome adversities with either health issues, losing a family member, but still excelling academically throughout the school year. So it's great to hear their stories, and that they're getting recognition as one student from each school. So congratulations to them. And then also, I think a lot of people probably know celebrations on 12th Avenue and Cervantes, and we had the loss of Debbie Turner the other day, and so of course our thoughts and prayers are with her and her family. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Bender. Commissioner Berry?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to acknowledge something I got to do last week, which may not ever get to do again. It was read a proclamation for Shanice Sunday, which we're ratifying tonight, but for her retirement after 40 years of work, over 40 years of work at Extension through the FNET program, in conjunction, part of the Extension program that we have with the University of Florida. I want to thank Commissioner Kohler for coming out to the event last Thursday afternoon as well. Not many 40-year retirees do we see, so that
She
was.
reminded me that I didn't show up. I told her I didn't get the email. I'm sorry.
Well, it was a lovely affair.
Lovely
There was
affair,
cake.
yeah.
It was lovely.
Yeah, I apologize.
And Saturday had a great time. Went to the Escambia River Electric Co-op annual meeting, and one of the principals from Connection Communications, Jonathan Chambers, made the trip down from Missouri to speak to the accumulated folks there, and talked about the broadband project, and spoke for quite a while about the impact that project was going to have on those cooperative members, and the impact it was going to have in our community. And I'm just really excited. I want to thank Ryan Campbell for the invitation. I took the kids up there. They got to do some face paint stuff. Had a magic show. The magic show was the linchpin to be able to pitch the attendance to the kids. So it was that was a nice treat by EREC to have magic folks at 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday. But there were several hundred folks there, and really excited about that project getting going. When I was able to speak to some of the folks, it's the reality of what's going to happen if we just blink and fast forward a year. Our 4,500 residents or homes and businesses in the most rural portion of the county are going to have internet connections that greatly exceed what those of us on the dais have currently. And that's going to be something. So I'm also excited about getting the second phase of the project out pretty soon, and hopefully, start to remedy some of that within the rest of the county as well. We congratulate University of West Florida baseball. They win the Gulf South Conference regular season title. They start tournament play this weekend, but certainly want to recognize a friend of many of ours on the dais. Mike Jeffcoat was the coach of the year again in the Gulf South Conference, and that's fantastic. Want to wish a couple of our teams playing tonight good luck. They're playing out of county foes, so it's easy to wish Tate and Catholic both good luck. They're playing district championships tonight against out of county teams, so hopefully both of the Escambia County teams will prevail. And I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Berry. Commissioner Bender?
Yeah, I did have real quick. Of course, we talked a little bit about family, and I appreciate you guys letting me come in a little late this morning because my kids were in their school play that's going to go on later this afternoon, but they had a presentation in the school this morning that I was able to see. So with that being said, do any of you all have any questions with items 14 through 17 regarding the public safety items? Eric's senior daughter is playing tonight in districts, and I want to make sure that he can get up there to see her. So
I don't have any issue with it. Is that the same daughter that had the extra innings walk-off RBI?
that would probably be the one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Maybe we should take some
absolutely.
TDC dollars and give her. She got us more publicity than
Yeah,
visit.
there you go.
So maybe we ought to do that. Maybe we should give her some money. No, I think that all the questions were answered this morning during the agenda review, Commissioner.
All right, Eric. See you later. Have a good night.
All right, buddy.
Thank you, Commissioner Bennett. Speaking of sports, I'm a
All
little.
right, you're doing the proclamation, then you're leaving. Got it.
Yeah, he's staying. She won't strike out. Thanks. Speaking of sports, Commissioner Bender, I've been a Little League coach for about 38 years, and obviously we're going to honor his wife, but I would be remiss if I didn't recognize a person that's been my mentor, and the reason that every day I go to a ball field or gym or a football field or a baseball field is because of people like Johnny Blackman and Calvin Ransford. That taught me the importance of investing in human capital, taught me the importance of coaching children and picking them up and feeding them without getting children trust money or government money. And so 50-year coach that coached Emmett Smith, Derek Brooks, Ray Palmer, Lumen May, all of us have made it because of Calvin Ransford. I had the opportunity to coach his son, Chris. And Chris, you did start because your dad was a hero. I mean, that's why I kept putting you in the game. I mean, because he would never let me put you on the bench. But Calvin, you are a living legend. You have given so much to this community in terms of helping African-American boys become African-American men. And so for that, I always applaud you. And many of you who maybe have never coached, but I'm sure many of you have had a dwarf chicken sandwich, and he is the originator of the Belmont DeVillas, the blocks, and the chicken sandwich. And so if you've never had a dwarf chicken sandwich, then you should try to befriend him, and maybe he will give you a white meat or dark meat with hot sauce, and then you would be good to eat. So Calvin, we certainly honor you and appreciate you for all that you've done, and certainly didn't want to steal the thunder from Evelyn, but many of us are successful because of you. And no, we can't talk, crew. We got to get out. Yeah, Bender has to go see his son, crew. But we're bringing you back to let you talk. But I got scared. Trey. I got scared. But in all honesty, Martin Lewis, who's the altar bar at St. Joseph Church, many of us know him if we've ever attended St. Joseph Catholic Church, and it was a tremendous loss to our community for Martin Lewis. And on this weekend, Jeff, I will be in your district at the Rosamund Johnson ceremony. Rosamund Johnson, an African-American who lost his life in the Korean War, a Purple Heart. Grew up not far from the chicken stand on Belmont Street. At the age of 15, became a Purple Heart, lost his life in Johnson Beach, is where that's named after him. And Jeff, I take a moment to reflect that my mother couldn't go to Pensacola Beach. My father couldn't go to Pensacola Beach. The only beach that African Americans and people of color could go to was Johnson Beach. And unfortunately today, because it costs $25 to go in, many African Americans still can't go to that beach. And so I don't take it with any, yeah, it could be emotional, but I know that my mom and dad didn't get an opportunity to go to the White Sands of Pensacola Beach that I get the opportunity to do, and my sons. And so I stand on that shoulder. I know many people are here. And so we will be honoring Rosamund Johnson at 10 o'clock. And Jeff and Commissioner Kohler, thanks to everyone that has made sure that the national parks will waive the fee, that no one will have to pay to go in to celebrate the life of Rosamund Johnson, who lost his life. And with that, it's unfortunate we had another African-American, Rashad Williams, who went in to get, Bryce Brooks, who went in for Rashad Williams and lost his life on Perdido. A young man, although he was not from our community, a young man who went in the water to save others and lost his life. And so we should keep those families, although they're from Georgia, in our prayers and reflect. Although we have a long way to go, we've made great strides and great accomplishments in recognizing that there are many more milestones that we need to accomplish in race relations and understanding in culture and diversity. And so I look forward to being there. Jeff, if you're not there, I will make sure that I acknowledge you, but we certainly plan to be there.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I had planned to be there. I'm going to be out of the city, but I appreciate you going and making the point, and certainly big support. I was there last year with you. It was a great event.
We'll be there. Commissioner Kohler, I'm sorry.
I just want to tell you, when I first came here, I didn't know about Pensacola Beach, but that was the first beach I went to, too, Johnson Beach. And I'm not joking. And I can't be there, or I would, because I'm out of town, but I will definitely be there next year for you.
Don't worry, we're turning it into all black beach on Saturday. That's fine. Y'all don't have to come.
Hey, that's okay. I like soul.
So, no, with all due respect, we certainly appreciate it and thank both of you for that support. And I think I was with the Johnson family today as they were getting prepared, and certainly we allocated some discretionary money to help them with the things that they need to do. So thank you, and again, congratulations to Rosamund Johnson. And I will say it publicly that as we begin to look at building the new tax collector office on Palafox, that hopefully that we can attach a name such as Rosamund Johnson. I'll be bringing that forward, and I hope to get support to name that tax collector office after Rosamund Johnson. And so we'll be bringing that forward, and I'd love to have the support of my colleagues. With that, Wes?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I look out and I see many, many county employees out there, many of which I've had the honor to serve with in the trenches, out in the field. I see Super Cooper back there, who perfected the Orlando Huey years ago. And every time I see Cooper, we've got a lot of good memories. But there's a lot of employees, and I tell people all the time, the magic's not made on the fourth floor. The magic happens because of all the employees that are out in the trenches, out in the fields, dealing with the public, being the face of the public. In the budget office and the animal services, John, I've never heard so many stories in all my life of things that you go through and put up with. But I appreciate all of you employees. Y'all are fantastic. Y'all are absolutely what makes the county run. And I appreciate every one of you. Thank you.
And employees, I wouldn't take what Wes said, too deep. I'd still come to work at 5 to 8 in the morning. I wouldn't be late. But we certainly want to recognize former Commissioner Grover Robinson, former mayor. I did do a challenge with him, and we were part of the skate park, and I still put a $10,000 challenge to him and Mayor Hayward if they could outskate me on a skateboard. That challenge stands, Grover, if y'all ever want to come out and do the skate. I'm the poorest of all three. Proclamation, the chair will accept a motion for the adoption and
Move the proclamations.
Second.
Don't let Grover hustle you into a tennis match.
ratification.
Don't let him. Don't parlay the skateboarding into a tennis match.
I get hit. I sweat when I pass by the country club. We have a motion and a second. Please vote. He would probably win that, though. That passes 5 in favor. Thank you. First is Ms. Sandra Drinkins for selection as Employee of the Month. Eric Gilmore.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have the distinct honor of Public Safety having the Employee of the Month, Ms. Chandra Jenkins, and let me tell you something about this individual. She is about the county business. She is an outstanding employee and presents and promotes the county every chance she gets, and I have to tell her to go home. I really do. And she'll say, well, I got to be up here this Saturday, and I got to do X, Y, Z. I said, no, you don't. We can do that Monday, and she's up Saturday doing it. She is an outstanding employee, and she keeps us in line. She does our EMS billing, which is very important to us, and keeps the money rolling in for us. So I'll read the proclamation from Ms. Chandra Jenkins. Emergency Medical Services Billing Manager in Public Safety Department began her employment in the county on October 20th, 2015, and is selected for Employee of the Month. Whereas Chandra's primary duty is oversight and streamlining the billing collectors process of the EMS billing department and ensures that the organizational standards are followed. Whereas Chandra has displayed commendable dedication and has worked tirelessly to aid the county attorney's office and contracted legal counsel in preparation for an upcoming legal case, easily spending over 20 hours per week outside her regular duties. Additionally, Chandra has arduously worked with former EMS software providers to coordinate extensive case requests to build reports. And whereas Chandra consistently goes above and beyond to ensure the EMS billing department meets or exceeds monthly goals to properly support the EMS division, she regularly collaborates with the EMS administration and the EMS operations division to advise regarding specific patient transports and the associated billing process to verify compliance to best practices. Whereas Chandra serves as the HIPAA compliance officer for Public Safety Department and regularly provides updates and training to all employees to ensure adherence to state and federal regulations. Chandra also offers HIPAA compliance training to other county departments, demonstrating her commitment to work and the residents we serve. Whereas Chandra is an exceptional leader who cares, praises, encourages, and appreciates her team for their good work. Chandra's exemplary performance in community interactions and diffusing escalating situations, along with her ability to communicate clearly and calmly, have made her an invaluable asset to the EMS division, the Public Safety Department, and to the residents of Escambia County. Now let it be proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Escambia County, Florida, commends and congratulates Ms. Chandra Jenkins on her selection of Employee of the Month for May 2023. Luma May Chair, Stephen Berry, Vice President, Vice Chairman, Jeff Burgosh, District 1, Mike Kohler, District 2, and Robert Bender, District 4. Thank you, Chandra, for all your hard work and dedication. Very much deserved. You okay with that? You've done an excellent job. Thank you, ma'am.
I would like to thank everybody that, first of all, to my Public Safety Director, Eric, for instilling in me the trust to do my job effectively and efficiently, and as well as my team, my Public Safety family and our team, to do our work. We let our work speak for us.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank Yeah, Shonda, please have a picture. Welcome anyone else you want to drag up in there with you. There you go.
Aaron can go right here. Aaron, go right here.
I see Commissioner May making his way forward. If Evelyn, and if you might bring your family forward. I know Lumen would love to present you with a proclamation with all your friends and family that are present.
Yeah, feel free. Staff and friends, feel free to join. Thank you, Commissioner Berry. What an honor to be able to give a proclamation to someone you looked up to your entire life. As I said earlier, that crew was coaching, but Evelyn was fixing food and doing things to give us an opportunity that we wouldn't have without her. And so growing up poor from Morris Court, when somebody worked at the county, you thought they were rich. And so we didn't know that when you work for the government, you never get rich. So growing up, Evelyn, it's an honor for me to do this. Whereas Evelyn D. Ransford has worked as a county employee faithfully for over 49 years, retiring as an accounting specialist with the engineering department. Whereas Ms. Ransford began her employment August 6, 1973 as a clerk typist in the record indexing at the Escambia County Comptroller's Office, was quickly promoted to recording and then to accounts payable. In 1998, she transferred to the engineering department. She has served the engineering department for 20 years with various job duties. Recently as accounting specialist, and in the same time frame also worked at the former Civic Center, now known as the Bates Center. Evelyn D. Ransford has diligently supported the day-to-day operations of the engineering department and other departments at the central office complex by being responsible for accounts payable, including focusing her attention on the details of invoices before sending them for payment, thereby catching errors and saving the county over millions of dollars over the years. Ms. Ransford has, over the course of her tenure, received multiple Employee of the Month awards, including being named Escambia County Employee of the Year in 2001. Whereas Evelyn Ransford, admired by co-workers and friends across the departments under the Board of County Commissioners, must be commended for her professional and personal dedication and her outstanding work ethic. Evelyn creates a special atmosphere that will be difficult, even if possible, to recreate in the engineering department. Right, Joy? Yes. Whereas Evelyn Ransford, who retired for the first time in 2008, I don't know why you came back, with 35 years of service, and then returned to her position for 15 years more. That's crazy. For the second and final time, retired from the Board of County Commissioners Engineering Department on May 9, 2023. Also her 73rd birthday. Happy birthday. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners, on behalf of the citizens of Escambia County, Florida, fellow employees, commends and congratulates Evelyn D. Ransford on her retirement. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Escambia County, Florida, expresses its appreciation to Evelyn D. Ransford for over 49 years of faithful and dedicated service as a county employee. Board of County Commissioners, Lumen May Chairman, Stephen Berry Vice Chairman, Jeff Bagash, District 1, Mike Kohler, District 2, Robert Bender, District 3. Congratulations, Evelyn.
Thank you. I am thankful and honored that God has given me the strength to serve the citizens of Escambia County for 50 years. This achievement occurred because of the support and encouragement from my husband, Crew, my sons, Colvin and Chris, and my grandbabies. I will always treasure my experiences, my opportunities, memories, and friendships that were developed over the years. I am truly proud to have been a part of the Escambia County team and have plans to enjoy my retirement. Again, thanks to my director, Joy Blackman, to the engineering staff, my family, traffic, all my friends at COC, Horace Jones, Clara Long, CRA. Very special thanks to my supervisor, Robin Lambert, who had always held my back. To my birthday buddies, Fern Hopkins, Whitney Eckert, Cassandra Presley, Willie Betty Travick, and my older brother, Don Kristen. Again, thank you. Again, thank you, commissioners. Thank you.
Thank you. If anybody would like to join the picture, you're welcome to do it.
Just one other statement. I wanted to make sure everybody understands. She holds the record now, 49 plus years, almost 50. Yeah. But we intend to break that, right, Robin?
You want to bring your staff up?
Robin, would you like to?
Well, hey, let's do one of the family, then bring the staff up. It's not your good side. We're going to do family, then staff. Yeah. Staff, we'll do it with staff. Any of the staff that want to take it, but come on. Don, y'all come on.
Come? Sam, Red Crab. Everybody man that talk. Red Crab. Come?
You don't have to stand in the back. You know you're.
And no, get right there, get right there.
Right, yeah.
We know who's in the back.
Yeah, call him up, call him up.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
come on, Chris, you ain't even getting no, you got 1 minute, not 3, come on.
Yeah.
Thank you. And while Commissioner May is making his way back to the dais, we also ratified a proclamation proclaiming May 6th Rosamond Johnson Beach Day in Escambia County, Florida, ratifying proclamation commending and congratulating Shanisa Sunday on her retirement after 40 years, and ratifying the proclamation recognizing Cox Communications for honoring 54 Escambia County students with the Cox Inspirational Student Hero Awards.
Thank you, Commissioner Berry. Did the clerk's office receive proof of publication?
Mr. Chairman, the clerk's office has received all proofs.
Move to waive the reading.
Second.
Please vote. She brought a crowd, didn't she? Passes 5 in favor. Thank you so much. Public hearing 531, we have a speaker. Would y'all entertain a speaker before it? Thank you so much. Our first speaker will be Ronnie Enfinger.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead. The mic is yours, sir.
Oh, first time.
No problem.
I'm trying to get a alleyway, unopened right of way, put in my. I really don't know what to say. Sorry, but I'm trying to apply for some unopened right of way. On page 4.
Ronnie, I think you're good. I think that
He's the petitioner.
it's in your favor.
Yeah.
I think if you don't say anything, you'll win.
Thank you.
All right, Chair, entertain a motion. We got you, Ronnie.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the petition.
Second.
We have a motion. Please vote.
And I want to, while we're voting, recognize Ronnie. Nice to see you, buddy. Been a while. Still miss your brother Donnie.
Yeah, I do too. I miss your daddy.
Thank you.
Alabama conversations.
That passes 5 in favor.
Those Alabama-Florida conversations would have taken a different tilt the last 10 or 12, 15 years. It's been a while, but
Yes,
nice to see you, nice to see you, Ronnie.
Thanks, Ronnie. Thank you. And thank you for Mr. Berry. He was a great man. Passes 5 in favor. Thank you. 532? No speakers.
Move to 532.
Have a motion and a second. Please vote. That passes 5 in favor. Thank you. And Commissioner, it passes 5 in favor. Thank you. We're going to move to the 533. And Commissioner Bender, we're going to do our very best to get you to your kids' events. And so, but I do have quite a few speakers at the 533. First speaker will be Gary Holt.
Gary Holt, 14055 Canal Drive. Chairman May and Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. We've been working on this project for about 7 months now. I appreciate being able to work with Tim Day and his staff and Ms. Rogers and her staff. They've been great, very responsive to work with. You've seen many of the pictures. We've discussed it over the months. We're trying to clean up Perdido Key. I mean, this is outrageous. So I think this is a good compromise. Of course, our group doesn't want any signs on the beach, but this ordinance agrees to compromises to have one sign per property line back to the dune line. So we understand that, people don't want trespassers in their swimming pool and their parking lots and stuff. But we need to clean up the beach. This is one of Escambia County's most precious resources, you know, and we need to protect it. And it'll be beneficial. This ordinance, I believe, will be beneficial to every property owner in Escambia County. And I want to encourage you to support it this evening. And thank you again for the opportunity. Thanks.
Thanks, Gary. Our next speaker will be Charles Krupnick.
Charles Krupnick, 14500 River Road.
I apologize, Charles.
Pardon me?
I said I apologize for mispronouncing your last name. I said I apologize for mispronouncing your last name.
Not a problem, sir. 14500 River Road, Pensacola, and a Perdido Key Association director. One more time, reducing the number of signs identifying privately owned beaches from the 3 currently allowed is a concern for many Perdido Key beachfront property owners. A beach sign pretty much looks much the same, whether it's public or private. One sign 10 foot from the dune line, as indicated in the proposed ordinance, will be interpreted by many beachgoers as the boundary of private ownership, with the rest of the beach open to public use. If the one beach sign ordinance is adopted, I hope commissioners will support additional action to help maintain ownership rights. The county has been active putting up new or replacement beach safety signs. If 3 signs cannot be posted on private property, I ask the county to post appropriate information so the general public is aware of the private-public beach boundaries. There's a visible sign at the entrance of Beach Access 1, but none on Beach Accesses 2 or 4. Beach Access 3 has one, but it's at the entrance of the parking lot, not at the beach access area itself. Allowing owners to place additional movable signs during the day, but taking them down at night for sea turtle concerns would also help. The current 75-foot beach easement investigation speaks to more government presence on Perdido Key beaches. As PK has argued in the past, more federal, state, and county presence on our beaches would be welcome. An occasional ATV on the beach driven by a uniformed official would have a good effect on public order, whether or not the 70-foot public easement move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charles. Next speaker will be Ms. Melissa Pino.
Thank you, Chairman May. Melissa Pino, 413 Southeast Bobble. It's just unbelievable, isn't it? Just zero shame, none. What kind of people would argue for these signs that are littering and trashing up our beaches to remain? Maybe an organization that pretends it has no institutional memory whatsoever that those are public beaches to begin with. And yeah, I know, we've got the Calvin Coolidge thing, and there was the case in the 70s on Beach Access 1. I, of course, am arguing to go all the way with a clear chain of title on every single property out there. But thank you to Gary Holt, and I don't want to conflate what he's doing with my opinions on that, because he's been very clear that all he wants is for the signs to be off the beaches, as anyone with any connection whatsoever to nature, the ocean, human spirituality, and our need to get to that water. Our blood evolved from seawater. There's a reason we need to get to it. The time of this nonsense is over. And Commissioner Burgash, honestly, of all of the things I've advocated for, there isn't much that I'm more proud of than leading the lobbying for you to get Perdido returned to District 1, and you know how against it I was in the beginning. But what were the 2 reasons? It had nothing to do with candidate conspiracy theories. Number 1, keep that money in Warrington, and number 2, we knew that you would be the person to start correcting all of the damage that was done out there. And Johnson Beach hopefully you can work with the new director of national parks after what Doug and Dan Brown did to just absolutely destroy the parking scenario, lie about it, rip down a perfectly good pavilion that I demonstrated with photographs all up underneath it. It never had any termite damage, and on and on and on the list goes. Kudos to you, man, because, I mean, seriously, nobody could have moved or would have moved this fast on this stuff. So let's get this first domino going and get these signs off the beach.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Bennell.
you.
Next speaker, Tim Smith.
Thanks for allowing me to speak again. You guys know how I feel about public access. We need to have more of it, more of it, more of it. I can't say thanks enough to Michael McCormick, Tim Day, the staff, Jeff Prakash. I know he's a big public access kind of fella. You too, Mr. May, Bender, Stephen. Kohler, we're going to find out. So we'll be watching. We'll be watching. So just with that said, I want to say thank you for sticking up for us locals. I grew up here. I knew what it was like when that beach was wide open and nobody cared. And now all of a sudden, money shows up and it's an issue, and it shouldn't be. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I do support this ordinance.
Thank you,
Thank
Tim.
you very much.
Thank you. Kevin Wade.
Kevin Wade, 413 Southeast Boblets. Artificial reefs and this beach. Storm after storm. I found myself heading out to Perdido Key. Maybe a little bit because the Floribama was an inviting party during storms, but I rarely made it there. I spent most of my time going dock to dock, tying spring lines, making sure that people's boats were going to stay their boats and stay boats. And this accorded me very, very many invites to the beach parades, where we'd meet at Johnson Beach or at Floribama, and it was dune buggy parades back and forth on the beach. Year after year. I think probably the most dune buggies I ever saw was about 50 or 60. But year after year, people come out of their places and cheer us on. There'd be beads being thrown. It was Mardi Gras on the beach, and I just knew that I had found the redneck Riviera, and I loved it. There were no signs. The signs were happy people. And, you know, I spent a lot of time taking care of the people's property out there, and that was reciprocated. But come Ivan, and that change into that commissioner, and these signs, it all went south.
Thanks, Kevin. Michael McCormick.
Gentlemen, I hope you were paying attention to those pictures that gentleman showed. That is an abomination. 63 years ago, I walked out on that beach for the first time. Not a sign anywhere. Before I die, I would like to see the number of signs cut down. I understand we can't get rid of all of them, but I would like to see them cut down. So I speak in support of this amendment. I also would encourage this body to continue its due diligence in searching through the records to find out how much of that beach we actually have rights to and how much the property owners have rights to. With that, I'll leave it to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Bradford Farrar.
Good evening. My name is Brad Farah. My wife and I reside at La Riva West on Perdido Key, Mr. Bragash's district. We live there full-time, and our residence is here, we vote here. It is our only residence. We worked very hard all our lives and wanted to retire on an oceanfront beach in a slow-paced community with a private beach. The cost to buy and maintain a condo at La Riva was much more than we planned. Not only the condo price, but real estate taxes and HOA fees. We thought it was worth the cost because Perdido was exactly what we were looking for with a private beach. I'm here to tell you the one sign close to the dunes is not adequate to stop people from trespassing on our beach. Our residential condo is right next to beach access too, and we require at least 3 signs to properly spaced to make people aware of our property line. Imagine people setting up a party or even a wedding or a special event in your backyard without your permission. I don't think you'd like it very much. I think the signs are not an eyesore that some claim, and they are not as detrimental to wildlife and turtles as the visitors that leave holes, sand castles, sand sculptures in the sand. They also leave trash, chairs. Yesterday, I moved 2 6-foot tables that had been there for several days and other obstacles. Mostly homeowners are the ones that clean up the beach. So I'm asking you not to pass the one sign ordinance. All the owners of Perdido Key have a lot invested in our properties, and the 3 sign ordinance.
Brad, would you finish it up, please?
Yes, sir, I will. 3 sign ordinance is vital to our real estate right of quiet enjoyment of our homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to ask Mr. Farah a question.
Yes, sir.
You're on 14241 Perdido Key Drive, La Riva, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you aware that there's a 75-foot easement for public beach access in front of your property?
Sir, that has not been determined yet, and I understand that the title searches are still going on.
No, I believe that you're incorrect. We have the original deeds.
I understand that,
Yeah.
but we do have our people looking at it.
Well, I mean, they're welcome to look at it, but
there's other issues.
64, excuse me, I just want to ask you a question. 64 of those properties, including La Riva, have 75-foot for perpetual public beach access. Were you aware of that?
No.
Okay. Well, I'm going to help make everyone aware of it.
Oh, well.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, so you're calling war, right? Okay.
Let church say amen. We'll entertain a motion. Yeah, that's it.
I move this motion in the affirmative. I move this ordinance in the affirmative.
I'll have a motion second. Please vote. $533 passes 5-0. Thank you. There are no speakers for 534. Chair entertain a motion.
I'm sorry, 534?
Yeah. Yes.
I apologize. Second.
Second.
Please vote.
I'm sorry, the motion was to just move the 534?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just making sure. Thank you.
No, we just passed that. That passed unanimously.
Yeah, that's bad. That passes 5-0. Thank you so much. Clerk and Comptroller's report.
Mr. Chairman, the clerk's office just has 3 routine items for your approval tonight. The first is the May 31st, 2023 investment report. The second is documents provided to the clerk to the board's office for filing with the board's minutes. And the third is minutes and reports prepared by the clerk to the board's office.
Move the clerk's report.
Second.
Please vote. Passes 5 in favor. Thank you. Growth management.
Yes, sir. For tonight, we have the 545 public hearing concerning the review of an ordinance for a small-scale map amendment.
No speakers.
Mr. Chairman, I move the item.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, please vote. Passes 5 in favor. Horace?
Yes, sir. We're then proceeding to a rezoning case Z 2023-05 from MDR to public. The planning board made a recommendation for approval.
No speakers.
Move the item in the affirmative.
We have a motion.
Second.
Please vote. Passes 5-0. Thank you. Horace?
The next item is the 546. This is the adoption of the official zoning map for the preceding case.
Right,
Move the
no
item
speakers.
in the affirmative.
Second.
Passes 5 in favor. Horace?
Yes, sir. 547. We have the large-scale map amendment, the first of two public hearings.
Thank you, Horace. We do have a
Transmittal
speaker.
to Tallahassee.
We do have a speaker. Susan Salomon.
Hi, I signed up to speak, but I'm the agent for the petitioner, so.
Well, thank you
We're
so
good.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move the item.
Second.
Passes 5 in favor. Thank you, Horace.
Yes, sir. 548. We have a cancellation for Z 2023-06 for the official zoning map cancellation.
Chair, entertain a motion.
Move to cancel the item.
Second.
Passes 5 in favor. Thank you, Horace.
549, small-scale map amendment, public hearing.
Yeah, hold on. We do have two speakers. Meredith Bush.
Meredith Bush, 125 East Intendancy. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, just asking for approval. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Meredith. Dave Peacock.
And thank you for your time. My neighborhood lives next door to the project that's being built on 9 Mile Road, and there's a creek running through the middle of it, and we're concerned about the elevation of the building and what effect it'll have on the neighborhood and the wetlands, which about 1.5 acres of it's wetlands, and what they're gonna do to protect it, because it's a steep terrain. We don't know how they're gonna level the building without bringing in many truckloads of dirt. And again, a major creek runs through there. I call it major for us. And that's really all we're concerned about, some oversight to make sure that they take care of the wetlands and they, take care of that property that's adjacent to us.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Peacock.
Thanks for your time.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Beer.
Yes, sir. I was just going to say I am familiar with this parcel, and it's close to the Baptist Hospital campus. It's just a little bit east of there, close to the university where Copter hits 9 Mile, and the train does go down. And but I know that county staff has been aware of the activity on the parcel and kind of what was happening since the land began to be cleared some number of years ago. So I'm confident and based on some conversations earlier this week that the staff is going to be on top of what's happening on the property and those kind of things. And you know, we do have some benefits with some improvements on Highway 90 on 9 Mile Road there with some drainage that DOT has done, some improved access to some stormwater management. So that's a good thing to be able to tie into. But I certainly understand where Mr. Peacock's coming from, and I am familiar with where he is in the area, and we'll just have to stay, one of the projects we'll just have to stay on top of.
Okay, we have a motion.
Move to approve the item.
We have a motion.
Second.
Please vote. Passes 5 in favor. Thank you. Director Jones.
The action item, we have Greystone, Phase 3 for the final plat approval, Greystone.
Mr. Chairman, no speakers.
No speakers.
Move the item A through D.
Second.
Thank you. That passes 5-0. Director Jones.
Yes, sir, final plat approval for Saddle Ridge, Phase 1, final plat approval.
No speakers.
Move the item in the affirmative.
We have a motion.
Second.
Please vote. Passes 5-0. Director Jones.
Yes, we have our consent agenda for May 18th and the consent agenda for June the 8th.
We'll take both at the same time.
Move the scheduling for the consent agenda.
Second.
Passes, I don't know. Passes 5-0. Thank you so much, Director Jones. That's it. We got it. All right.
Mr. Chairman, there are 5 items on the technical public service consent agenda. There are no changes. Please hold for speakers card 1-2.
All right. We'll
Move
move
the-
the
move the
chair and take
balance.
motion for that. Thank you.
Second.
Well, you can come on up.
Is this estuary?
No, leave sidewalks.
It's estuary.
Estuary? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
It's estuary, I apologize.
Thank you, Melissa Pino, 413 Southeast
Thank you,
Boblitz. And I know that Grover will think I'm picking on him, but I'm not. I've been saying this for years, and I absolutely support the interlocal. It's really important. Support the estuary program. I think that everybody knows that I very publicly have supported Matt Posner. It's a really important program. However, I will never stop saying that throwing a bunch of oyster shells in the water is not going to improve our water quality. And I have empathy for Matt, because the problem is that the policymakers, it's worse over in Santa Rosa, we're never going to stop clear cutting trees. We apparently aren't, I mean, Robert's doing tremendous work on Carpenter Creek with that restoration, but we've still got significant problems with all of our upland creeks. We're not going to stop ag from polluting the waters. We're not going to stop the big 5. Certainly nobody can rein ECUA in, and all the septic to sewer in the world isn't going to matter if they keep dumping tens of thousands of gallons of poop into our water every year. The amount of shells in these projects is not significant enough to impact water quality. This isn't Matt's fault. It's not the estuary program's fault. They are doing what they can. But I have begged that estuary program to consider a bylaw where you don't put those shell projects in where people recreate. And maybe it's time to start asking the BCC to set an ordinance or something here in Escambia County, because those projects are deadly dangerous. And there is a reason that on Boudreaux's site, for all of that Santa Rosa monstrosity that just went in, big video that when it goes underwater, it becomes animated. It's a cartoon of the oysters attaching to these things. So I'm sorry, Grover. It's not anything personal. I've been saying this for a while, and somebody's got to say it. Bye-bye. On that issue.
So, you need to sign up, Grover, or you want to?
Oh, Grover,
Yeah.
you want to? Grover?
And again,
Right, he's staff,
certainly
so.
have no problem. The good news is all the independent jurisdictions can do whatever they want. That's not what the estuary plan does. We simply implement the projects you want to do to begin to figure out how to clear our water. So again, whatever happens certainly happens with that standpoint, but I just want to be sure the issue tonight and what's before us is just beginning to move the estuary plan independent, and I think it's something you've definitely desired, and I think it's going to be good for the estuary plan. We had our conference today. It was very well attended, and I will say we had the speaker what came from Sarasota. He was the director of Sarasota NEP, and he was incredibly impressed by what we've done here. And Matt and his team have done a great job. And again, I think we need to keep moving this thing forward. And I certainly respect everything that Ms. Pino is saying, but y'all control that. The estuary plan doesn't even do anything with that. We simply want to find ways to clean up, and we'll work with jurisdictions and whatever they want to do. So I think this begins to move us forward in that way, and hopefully we can keep making regional progress. I think that's one of the best things about this is the real regional impact that we're having. And being able to do that. And I appreciate the opportunity to work for the board in helping make this thing a reality.
Thank you, Grover.
Thanks.
Move A and B.
We have a motion.
Second.
Grover, if you'd stay around a little while, we want to give you an award. Passes 5-0. Wes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are 46 items on the Budget Finance Consent Agenda, which includes my add-on that I verbally added to the agenda for the supervisory elections. We need to drop CAR 2-2, CAR 2-6, CAR 2-2, 2-9, and CAR 2-22. And hold for speakers, CAR 2-38.
Move the balance.
Second.
That passes 5-0.
Mel, you're up.
Not coming to as many meetings, so I need to make it count when I get here. Oh, this is Warrenton. All right, I'll skip the reef thing. I wanted to go ahead and speak on that, but I'll save it for another time. I wanted to thank Commissioner Kohler for providing these students with some support. And once again, my opinions, and I know a bunch of Republicans are not going to agree with, but what we are witnessing is the destruction of our public school system. And this charter school coming in with crony capitalism, it's legislated conflict of interest is what it is, shot through and rife. And I'm not talking about the local people that have advocated for it. I think everybody understands my respect and affection for David Baer, and I know his heart is in the right place. As somebody that fought Doug the last round for months on just closing down Cameron Lane, it absolutely breaks my heart that a school is shutting down. And I don't think a lot of people realize that those students are going to get bussed out of there. It's not solving anything. It's handing a for-profit company over facilities and grounds on a silver platter, and they don't have to fix the problem. And they can say all day long, well, we're going to have those middle school students for a while. Well, sure, you're going to dilute it. And I don't think that they have to do tiebacks either like the other school did. Thank you. Those people really, really need some support. And I got notice today that my public record went in so that the contracts and the documents that should have been on the school board site all along, they'd tell us, but they'd have to kill us. I can go pick those up tomorrow and figure out what it is that Chairman Fetzko actually signed, but I do want to give a big shout out to Paul Fetzko and David Williams for having the courage to stand up to that. Maybe the other ones just fell into their yes votes because they think Charter USA is going to walk away. I certainly hope they are.
Thanks, Mel. And we'll entertain much of it. And Mike, because we can't talk publicly, you have my full support for whatever you do at Warrenton Middle School. Although the school's in your district, the majority of those constituents come from my district. And when you look at District 2 and you look at District 3, it's one of the reasons as a Democrat I support choice is because these two districts have more children who go to school out of district than any other districts, because people are not going to school in their district because they're not satisfied with the level of education that they're getting in their district. And so if we're going to talk about economic development, if we're going to fund Florida West, we're going to do Outline Field 8, all that is irrelevant until we fix the educational system. You have to align your educational strategies with your economic development goals, align them and prepare, because what we do with economic development is we import talent from other counties to fill jobs because we haven't adequately prepared our children. And so when we talk about blue collar jobs, those are the children that go to Warrenton, those are the kids that are living in the urban inner city. So anything that, and I know Jeff's been passionate about workforce, about trade schools, and I'm in full support of that. And when people talk about we're going to displace those children, they should really look at the data. Children in District 3 who come from strong families are already displaced because they're going to school out of district, and they've been going for the last 10 to 15 years because they have not been satisfied with the level of education that they're getting in these two districts. So I'm glad you're supporting them, but you have my support. But I'm not going to let people continue to talk about, oh, we're displacing these kids. They have already been displaced the last 10 to 15 years because they're driving outside of district because they don't believe that they're getting the level of education that they deserve. And so we can't keep pushing kids out of District 2, in District 3. We have to improve the level and the quality of education in those districts. And I know we're not school board members, but we do push money for economic development and jobs, and we do have the influence because we leverage taxes.
Yes, we do.
All right, so with that, we'll entertain the motion.
Did you want to say something?
I mean, go ahead, whatever you want. I mean, Jeff's the educational guru, but I'm so sick of the labels that they're giving my children in District 3. And our children are not going to school in the district. And so it's no fault of theirs. When we decided to take away small, intimate elementary schools and put kids in large environments, we killed the educational system. And so we need to go back to neighborhood schools, Mel. That's what we need to go back to, and taking care of our children. I mean, the school district gets more money than anybody else to provide for education for our children. And without education, there's no elevator out of poverty. There's no elevator out of homelessness. If people are not properly educated, not meaning they have to go and get a PhD, but a trade, a skill will get them out of poverty. Go ahead, Mike.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I just want to make a comment. I'm not against charter schools. I'm for public schools too. I got a master's in education. I can't believe how this situation's devolved at that school. It's unbelievable. If I was a kid at that school and I had to hear every day I was in a failing school, how do you expect them to succeed? It's unbelievable. And y'all know my wife teaches at that school.
Absolutely.
I have heart for that place. I think it's really sad. I have people in my neighborhood, Bill Dixon went to that school. It's hard to believe they're going to close that school down. And they didn't they changed the principal, I think, every single year. They didn't have a continuity in staff. We had homeless living across the street. We have all kinds of stuff in the park. There's drug activities going on at the Pines, and these kids are walking through this to go to school, and then they wonder why it's failing. I mean, this isn't real hard to figure out. It's easy, but I'm not on the school board, but I do want to help that school in the last few days, and Mel, I'm on board on you with this one. And I'd like to make a motion to move this forward.
We have a motion.
I'll second it.
Second. Passes 5 in favor. Thank you so much, Wes. That's all. Allison?
3 items on the county attorney's report. I can answer any questions.
No, I think we did that this morning. Chair, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. Bang.
We tried, Robert. I'm sorry. Did everybody hit save?
I didn't get it to pop up, but I'll hand vote yes.
Passes 4 in favor. Commissioner Benton off the dais. It passes 5-0. We got it. It did go through. Let's all get to EDS. We stand adjourned.